Once again, students are out on the streets in protest over the coalition government's education reforms. This time the demonstrations are against the scrapping of a grant that provides financial support to students from disadvantaged backgrounds. The education maintenance allowance is a payment of up to £30 a week given to needy students to help with the cost of transport, books and other basic necessities. But the scheme has already stopped accepting new applicants, and the government hopes to abolish it altogether later this year. While MPs debated the plans inside Parliament, out in the cold, the student protesters told us that their future was at risk.
So many people's parents will encourage them to get a job because they think that's more reliable money, that parents can't afford to invest in their children's future like that. And it's just ridiculous because sixth forms are going to be full of only people who can afford it, and how is that fair?
Whether they're for ideological reasons or whether they're for financial reasons, the inevitable consequence is going to be that young people who don't have the privilege, who don't have the support to fall back on from home, are going to be the ones who are dropping out.
You've got tuition fees rising, you've got NHS cuts, you've got all of that, and fair enough, maybe some cuts need to be made, but what about the bankers? They're still getting their £1 million bonuses. They don't need that.
Critics argue that scrapping the EMA will affect hundreds of thousands of students, many thousands of whom will drop out of school as a result. The Labour opposition party has added its voice to calls for a rethink. But the government, which is introducing a series of deep spending cuts across the UK's public services, says it has to reduce the UK's budget deficit. It says the EMA is an inefficient use of public finances and makes little difference to whether or not students remain in education. Many teachers, however, support the students' fight to save the EMA.
This is a very rigorous process. It's if you don't turn up on time, if you don't do your work, and if you don't turn up, then you are refused your EMA. So it is an important lever for raising educational achievement. The argument is that only 10% of people would drop out if EMA was abolished, but that 10% is 60,000 people. That will be 60,000 people who will be doing nothing.
The government's austerity measures continue to alienate increasingly large sections of the electorate, and with the country's unions and student groups pledging to work together to fight the cuts, the streets of London will once again be the scene of more angry protests in the weeks and months ahead. Hassan Ghani, Press TV, London.